Okay, so let's take a look. If there was no parentheses, it would be a totally different thing.
Yeah.
If there's no parentheses, then it would be just linear, because it'd just be 1 squared. So,
Well, I guess the question I was asking was, would that be then h? Would h, if there was no parentheses there, would h be 1 squared or 1?
if there's no parentheses there,
Yeah.
it would be linear, because it'd just be 1 squared. It'd be x, negative x plus 1 minus 2. It'd just be linear. It wouldn't be, if there's a parentheses, it wouldn't be a parabola at all. It wouldn't be quadratic.
Oh, that's over my head.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be like this. It has to have some with x squared in it.
Oh, okay.
It has to be like that.
Okay.
So it has to be like this, or it has to be like that. It will form x squared plus, has to have an x squared in it somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. So, so here, our A, so here it's either going to be in vertex form, or it's going to be in standard form. This one's vertex form. So what's my A? My A, oops, is the number in front of the parentheses. So in this case, my A is a negative sign. So, and then there's an invisible 1. Remember, there's no number, it's an invisible 1. Okay, and then we have our H. My H comes out of here. So remember, this is minus H. So if H can't be 1 because it has to be x minus 1 for H to be 1. So it has to be, H actually has to be negative 1 because it has to be, it's x minus H. So if it's x plus 1, that means H has to be negative 1.
What, could you just automatically change it? Or
Yes.
how'd that work?
Because it has to be the opposite sign. That has to be a minus. The only way it's x minus H is if H is negative 1. Does that sort of make sense? So if you think about it, you can think about it if you want. You could think about it in terms of, maybe think of it this way. Whatever I have here, think of it as minus,
Put H in parentheses.
yeah, oh, thank you, that would work. Thanks, yeah, that totally works. Right, so here I have, if I put a 1 in there, then I just have x minus 1. And that's not what I have, I have x plus 1. So that means that this has to be minus 1 for this to be plus. It's sort of, or think about it this way. Think of it this way. It's on the inside. The inside's the opposite. So is this a left shift or a right shift?
This is a left shift.
It's a left shift. Is everybody with me? So if it's a left shift, that means my vertex has shifted left 1 to negative 1. Is that an easy way to think of it? Okay, that's more familiar. And then my K, what's my K? K is this part here, so K is negative 2. All right, so does everybody have these for your answers? At least now? Okay. So first of all, does it open upwards or downwards? What's my A? Or write in your A. What's A? Is it positive or negative? Negative. And then I need to draw my picture. It's unhappy. So does it open upwards or downwards? Downwards. Find the vertex of the parabola. Everyone write in the vertex. It's vertex of a parabola. Everybody write in the vertex. Vertex is h comma k, right?
Mm-hmm.
H comma k. Did you write in, everyone write in the numbers? Write in the numbers for the vertex. Oh, you need to hear that?
No, I'll just transfer it.
You sure you can do it over there, or do you want?
Which
Yeah,
last
I
time?
can give you one. Okay, so have you written in the vertex? Someone written in the vertex? Vertex is -1, comma, -2. All right, so then it says simplify the function and write f of x in standard form. And this is where it gets a little trickier. So let's find x plus 1 squared. And then we'll plug it in. So that's x plus 1 times x plus 1. So everybody, has anyone ever heard of foiling before? FOIL method? Raise your hand if you heard the FOIL method. Okay, so 3 of you haven't. Deji, you ever heard of it? David, you haven't heard of it? Okay, so the FOIL method is you take the first one. Here's my first one, x, right? I'm going to take x, I'm going to multiply by each of these two ones in the other thing I'm multiplying by. I'm going to take the 1, I'm going to multiply it by each of the ones on the other side. They call it firsts, outers, inners, and lasts, but it doesn't matter. You just take each one from the first group and multiply by each of the parts of the second group, and vice versa. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. 1 times x is x. And then 1 times 1 is 1. I'm going to add all those together, and I'll get x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so now I got to take that and put it back into my original function. So my original function is negative. Where's this part? It's negative x plus 1 squared minus 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part here. This part here is equal to what? X plus 1 squared. Does everybody agree with me that this and this are the same thing? Yes or no? We took this, we made, this is x plus 1 squared. So squared means you take whatever inside of here, you multiply it by itself. And then we did that, and we got this. So these two are the same thing. Raise your hand if you agree with me. Don't raise your hand just because you're raising your hand. Does everyone really understand that, or do we need to talk about that a little bit with each other? So here's x plus 1 squared. What that means is you take, squared means you take whatever inside the parentheses and you multiply it by itself. So we multiplied it by itself, and we FOILed to get this here, and then we combine like terms. So now we have 2x. So this and this are the same thing. So now what we're going to do is everywhere we see this in our original equation, instead we're going to put in this in parentheses. So I'm going to take this part here, and instead I'm going to write in what I have down here. So it's going to be minus parentheses x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 2. All these mean the same thing. These are all the same thing. Right? So this, instead, it's equal to this. So this, instead of writing that, I'm going to write in this. Everybody feeling all right with that part? All right, now I'm just going to, this is all being, so can I remove the parentheses? Is it being raised to an exponent up here? There's no exponent up here. Is it being multiplied by something in the front? Yes, a negative sign. So I need to distribute it in the negative sign, and then I can get rid of the parentheses. Is everybody all right with that part? Does that make sense? So yes, I cannot get rid of the parentheses yet because even though there's no exponent, it's being multiplied in front, so I'm just going to distribute in the thing in front. I'm going to multiply everything by negative symbol, and then I can take the parentheses away. So if I do that,
Everything becomes negative.
what was that?
Everything becomes negative.
Yeah, negative x squared minus 2x minus 1 minus 2. Now, what are my two like terms?
Minus 1 and minus 2.
Minus 1 and minus 2. Combine your two like terms. End up with x squared negative x squared minus 2x minus 3. Yep. That is my final answer. This is f of x. Maybe I'll move it over a second. So that is it in, so now, everybody find my A, everybody write down my A, my B, and my C. Write down the A, B, and C. What's A, what's B, what's C? Okay. I'm gonna pass out the homework that goes along. It's basically doing similar ones of these. Can you pass it down? All right, so everybody write in on the due date on these. Write in Friday, November, I think it's the 6th. 5th? First, second, third.
Monday's the first, so it'll be the 5th.
5th.
Yeah.
Okay, so write in due Friday, November 5th. Okay, so it's just doing more of these on their own. Which means you definitely want to keep this one as your kind of your guide, right? Now, so let's see. So everybody has down the A, B, and C for me. What's my A? -1. Right. Did I ask Ryan already? Jenna, what's my B?
-2.
Great. Shania, what's my C?
-3.
Great. Perfect. Good. And then the next question is compare this graph to the basic graph. How has it been shifted? What's my H and my K? So here, shifted. My vertex is what? What's the vertex, everybody? -1, -2. So how has it been shifted? -1 means what?
You're going right 1, down 2.
Yeah. So okay, actually, you look at it here too if you want. All right. So on the inside, is the inside my left, right, or my up, down?
Left, right.
Left, right. So remember, the inside is always the opposite. So is this left one or right one? Everybody, left one or right one? Left one. Everybody on board? Left one. All right, and then on the outside, is this my left, right, or my up, down? Up, down. So how's it been shifted? Up or down?
Down.
Down 2. Everybody all right with that part? So left 1, down 2.
The left, even though the vertex is -1? I mean,
Yeah.
The first one, x, is -1?
Because look,
Is that what we're looking at?
we're looking here. What's left 1? The numbers, Eric, the numbers are true. The numbers are not reversed. The numbers are true. -1 means left. It's only on the inside where it's the opposite.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
okay.
So the numbers are true however they are. So -1 means left, -2 means down.
Oh, -1 means.
So the
Okay,
point,
yeah, I was getting confused.
Yeah.
I was throwing it in the inside.
right,
and
don't,
trying to get
yeah,
it
yeah,
reversed.
yeah, yeah. Right. So again, if we're going a little too slow for you, feel free to work on the homework. Right. No, I pass that out. All right. Determine the axis of symmetry. Remember, axis of symmetry is x equals h. So everyone fill in this number right here. Fill it in right now. X equals h. What's your, fill it in. We're on number 5. Everyone look up at number 5, right?
Oh, well, that's the same thing.
We're up here at number 5.
I'm just copying
X
here.
coordinate, that's vertex.
Right?
Yeah, X coordinate and vertex.
And then number 6, the y-intercept, you put in x equals 0 into your function. So remember, the y-intercept is 0, comma, whatever c is. So you all know what c is. Fill in this one as well. Fill in those two numbers. Fill in, that's your h. X is h, you're saying that's h. You just remember that, right? X equals h, so it's going to, and then, what's that one? Let's see. What's C? Put in C. We found C, didn't we?
Oh,
So, what was our h? H was, what's our vertex again? H is what?
-1.
-1. And what's our C?
-3.
-3. And we found both those just a few minutes ago. Okay, so what are our points so far? So we have our vertex, which is -1, comma, is it -2? And we have our y-intercept 0, comma, -3. Now we need to find a few more. So I want everybody to take a minute and pick what other x's should I pick? Keeping in mind, this is my h, my vertex. This is my x, my vertex. What other 3 numbers should I pick? Write down what you think. Remember, they should be near this number, right?
Plus or minus off of both sides?
Yeah, I would go a couple either way from -1.
But on both
Mhm.
sides, right? X and Y? So
No,
you
no,
can switch
just
them
yes.
both?
Just the X.
Just
You
yes,
solve
because
for
we're
Y.
plugging in x's to
Oh.
find y's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just, okay.
Yeah, you just pick some X's.
So you can
You
be
can
0,
plug it in here and solve for the Y.
and then you can be -1,
So I'll draw a number line. Here's -1. What are the numbers near -1?
So,
It's just positive.
okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
-2 is good. What else is good? So give me another one. David, give me another one. It's another number near -1.
0.
0. We got that one already. Give me another one.
-4.
Close to -1, -2, and then what's after -2?
Oh, -3.
Mm-hmm. And then what's after, so 1, 0, what's after 0? Alex?
1.
1. So those are 3 good choices. Right? If you go further out, it's gonna all of a sudden shoot up and it's gonna be off your graph.
Oh, the 2 is gonna be off the graph, +2?
Yeah, it'll be close to off your graph.
Okay.
It might still be in the graph. You might be all right. Okay, so then plug all those in. Let's see, negative, and I'm gonna put parentheses wherever the x is. Plus 1 squared minus 2. Negative. And I'm going to pop in whatever number I chose here into those spots. Let me have to find that. So -2 plus 1 is -1 squared is +1. Minus 1 is, do you want to work through those? Should we work through those together? You can do that. -2 plus 1 is -1. -1 squared is +1. So it's -3. So this one becomes -2, comma, -3. Next one, let's see how my camera's doing. Yeah, it's kind of at the end. The next one. What's -3? You do what's inside the parentheses first. So -3 plus 1. What's that give us?
-2.
-2. So -2 squared minus 2. Okay, so what's -2 squared?
4.
4. Right, so take a look at this. Eyes up here for a second. This 2, is it acting on the -2, or just the 2, or the whole thing? Just the -2, whatever's inside the parentheses. Does everyone understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it means it's going to be -2 squared. So -2 squared is, like Alex said, is 4.
4.
So I owe $4 and I owe $2. Altogether I owe $6. We'll do the last one. That one's -3, comma, -6. And the last one will be, what's 1 plus 1? 2 squared minus 2. Okay, so what's 2 squared? 4, so it becomes -4 minus 2, also -6. So then we have our points. So again, everyone look up for a second. See this squared here? It's only acting just on the parentheses, just on the 2, not on the negative, just on this, what's inside the parentheses. So you find this first, 2 squared, 4, and then that becomes the opposite. This means take the opposite of that. Then it becomes -4. Okay. So there are our points. And we're going to graph them. And we have our points. Let's see. They are -1, -2, -1. So first you go to the elevator, back 1, -1, -2, right there. -2, -3. So first you go from the elevator, you go back 2, and you go down 3. And then -3, comma, -6. 0, -3, 1, -6. That's going to sound like this. Everybody a chance to get that sorted out? Do I put my points in a different color? Okay, so is the vertex a minimum or a maximum?
Maximum.
Maximum. That's the highest point. Right, the vertex is the highest point, so that's the maximum. What is the maximum of this function? What's the highest y gets?
-2.
-2. Again, C and D, we're going to skip those ones. What's the domain? All real numbers. Right, remember there's no, we're not dividing by x, so we're not taking a square root of x, so it's all real numbers, -infinity to +infinity. And then what's my range? Everybody take a minute, your neighbors, find the range. What's my range?
She might have.
Okay, check with the neighbors. I'm going to ask somebody randomly in about 15 seconds. What's the range? Something like probably Alex or David or Ryan, who I might ask. Ryan's like, bring it on. Okay, Ryan, what's the range?
I got -infinity and -2.
Yeah, it goes, -infinity is the lowest it goes, -2 is the highest it goes. It can equal 2, so it's going to be a square bracket there. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you folks 5 minutes to start in with your groups on the homework, and then we'll take a little break. So work on it with your neighbors for about 5 minutes.